Yo, what's up everyone and welcome back to the Riders Pulse YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at these Oxford Premium HotGrips. That cold time of the year is coming again, and if there's one problem riders hate to face during this time, it's having cold hands with fingers that are difficult to move despite wearing thicker gloves. And that's where heated gear comes into play. I'll tell you about the specifications on these as well as my experience with them, as I'll be using them again for my second winter. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the different options. The premium HotGrips from Oxford come in 4 different kinds, namely the Adventure, the Sports, the Retro and the Touring. These last ones I fitted on my MT07. The measurements, the look and the stickiness of the HotGrips are the main difference in these. The heating function is the same on every one of them. The standard length of the Adventure grips is 132mm, on the Sports it's 123, and on both the Touring and the Retro grips the standard length is 120mm. A little part of the outside edge can be trimmed off on each of these to fit your specific handlebars, and all of them fit the standard handlebar diameter of 22mm. On the MT07 you can fit the Touring, the Sports or the Retro, and I chose the Touring version because it offers more durability than the softer rubber from the Sports version. I ride a lot and I keep these grips on the bike year round, so I was going to use these grips a lot and I wanted to prevent wearing them out fast. I'm glad I made that choice because these grips still look very good after a year of usage, doing approximately 15,000 kilometers. Next up, the fitment. Fitting these grips was not very difficult, it's a matter of getting the old ones off and pushing these over the handlebars after putting some glue on the inside of the grips. When mounting these, it's very important to take into account the location of the wires that come out, because when fully locking the handlebar, you don't want these to touch the tank, as the standard way to mount these is with the wires going down as it states in the instructions. I've mounted these 2 times, and the first time I mounted them with the wires coming out down here, and when locking the handlebar to the right, the wire touched the tank and caused the throttle to twist, which is of course very dangerous. So I had to get them off again with a lot of effort, and I mounted them this way and just tucked away the wires with a nice looking band with the MT logo on it. Let's move on to the features these grips offer. These grips are attached directly to the battery with a fuse in between, and the system has a monitor that measures the voltage in the battery to detect whether the motorcycle is running or not, so that when you forget to deactivate the heated grips, it shuts itself off after 2 minutes. I tested this multiple times and it works perfectly. This feature can be deactivated by holding both buttons for 5 seconds, and turning it back on again can be done the same way. These grips have 5 heat settings, namely 30, 40, 50, 75 and 100%. Turning the heating function on and off just requires you to press either up or down in temperature, so this is very easy and user-friendly. The buttons are big and they offer some grip because they're rubber, and they're tactile enough so I can feel them through thick winter gloves. The warm-up time of these grips depends on the ambient temperature the motorcycle has been sitting in. What I mean by that is, for example, when I leave for work in the morning, the bike has been sitting in the garage, and so the handlebars aren't very cold. So because of that, the grips are fully heated up in about 5 minutes. When I leave work to go back home, the bike has been sitting outside for a couple of hours, and so, depending on the temperature, the handlebars are a lot colder. When near freezing temperatures, it takes about 10 minutes for the grips to be at the maximum temperature. If you want the grips to be hot when you start riding, you could just deactivate the auto shut-off function and let them heat up a little bit with the bike still off before you leave. In my opinion and experience, it's not really necessary to do so, as they get warmer in that time frame anyway. I've also noticed that when doing higher speeds in cold weather, I need a higher heat setting because the handlebars get colder from the freezing wind. In my experience, these grips live up to the expectations. They heat up rather quickly and the max heat is very warm. I've never had cold hands with these equipped, and I ride year round. The coldest temperature I've used these in was -5 degrees Celsius, and the palms of my hands were perfectly okay. Personally, to warm up the back of my hands I use heated gloves, and at least for me, I like both options in those temperatures. When using both options separately, I found out that the heated grips make a bigger difference than the heated gloves against the cold, so if you have to choose between those 2 options, I would really recommend you going for the grips. They are cheaper and more effective, and you don't need to worry about charging them. But if you want to be really comfortable in the winter, having both is really perfect because the grips heat the palms and the gloves heat the back of the hands. All in all, these grips are awesome. They feel like a luxury in the winter and are certainly worth the money. No more cold and immobile hands when riding in the cold weather. Alright everyone, that's it for today. If you found this video to be helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. See you in the next one and ride safe!